Season 4 is finally here, and it kicked off with a bang. Whether it's Busted Brig, Lifeweaver, or the fact that there's no more map pools, there has been quite a bit of changes, but Ranked is interesting right now, primarily because it basically broke, or at least it makes almost no sense, or does it? So in this video, we're going to break down exactly what happened with the Ranked system, what's going on with people getting placed all over the place in ranks, and what you should do going forward. But check me out streaming right now in the description down below and come ask me a question about your main of choice, and let's jump into it. So everyone knows that Season 4 was not going to have any rank decay. That was what was announced, that there was going to be no rank decay, so everyone was going to be at the same rank that they were at before. No placements, so you just queue up and you're going to be at the exact same rank. However, that's not exactly what we saw, primarily because they added another thing on top of that, which is if your MMR differentiates from your rank, it's going to put you to your MMR. It's just going to snap you to your MMR, which is a little bit strange because while we know that MMR is always moving above or below what your rank is, with a certain amount of games, your MMR and rank should just about match. Although if you have really big win streaks and really big loss streaks, it could move your ranking MMR separately. Now, basically what we saw is a couple of different things that happened when the rank system went live. We saw some players that haven't played on another role in a very, very long time, and then they would just pop in right to Grandmaster 1. It's like it took their MMR from a long time ago and it applied it, but it was a little bit more tricky than that because I've seen even players be in like masters in a role, then they're high rank in another role, they finally go into this new rank system, and the role that they were masters in way back when, even in Overwatch 1, is all of a sudden now in Grandmaster 1, which is weird. It shows that there's probably some amount of overlap between the roles, and it's really placing you a bit aggressively relative to the last time you were in a rank, and I think that that seems a little weird, and I'm gonna talk about what they should do instead of the system in place. But this is not the only thing that is happening. We're seeing a lot of players get placed quite a bit lower than they ended off at. I ended the season GM1 on all three of my roles, and I was GM4 and GM4 on both tank and DPS, and Masters 1 on support, which is a little bit weird. I guess maybe because I took a little bit more games on support to get to GM1, that my MMR wasn't as cemented up high. But then I played my tank, and I went 5 and 8, and it ranked me up to GM1. So that makes no sense. Like, I'm completely confused. If my MMR was trying to match, right, why wouldn't it just put me right into GM1 right off the bat, especially if it's going to rank me up if I go negative in my games? I don't really understand that. If the whole point of this new system is to snap you to your MMR, why wouldn't it just snap me to GM1 if it's going to give it to me? Obviously, the MMR thinks that I deserve it, but then they deranked me anyways. Now, I'm not the only one this happened to. This happened to pretty much the majority of the GM1 players or the high-ranked players, where they would get deranked, and then after they would basically do any 5 wins, no matter how many losses, they'd get snapped up to GM1, which makes me think that maybe it's an anomaly with the highest ranks of play. Still don't quite understand it though. It doesn't really line up with what was announced from Blizzard, so we're gonna have to wait for more transparency on that. Another thing that I saw is players that basically haven't played that much ranked and had some movement just in like a very small amount of games. So like I've had one person message me, they were in bronze, they ranked up to high silver at the very end of the season, not really playing that many games overall. It deranked them back to bronze. So their MMR was still lagging behind quite a bit, and it put them quite a bit down, which had them a bit bummed out. To them, it felt like DK, but really, it was the system trying to match MMR, and it just seems so weird. I think that, once again, the lack of transparency and this whole MMR and rank disparity is causing problems. I know that's what this is trying to solve, and perhaps for the future, this is not going to be something that is implemented every single season. It's just a autocorrect for now, but it does seem a bit weird and inconsistent to say the least. Now, going back to some of the problems I think with this new system in particular is that there's no placement. It feels very strange to not have a placement system. I don't think that it should give you a rank right off the bat, and it should make you earn those 5 wins or get a rank reset before it kind of adjusts you based on where it thinks that you are, and that would probably make things a little bit less confusing than giving people a quote-unquote D rank, and then after they play, ranking them up. It just adds to more confusion and frustration, so that makes more sense to me. Another problem that actually popped up is some people got to a rank, but it deranked them even though it didn't show it on their live profile and didn't give them the reward. So as an example, they ended something like Diamond, or let's say Diamond 5, but at the end, it just swaps them to Plat, even though they were in Diamond 5 and it only gave them Plat rewards, it only gave them the Plat banner, and that's gonna be super frustrating. And this actually happened all the way back in Season 1. I remember where I ended in Masters on one of my roles, and then I lost a single game, and it deranked me to Diamond, but it didn't show me, so I didn't know that I had to grind anymore, and I just kind of sat it there thinking, oh, I'm not even gonna play this role, I don't really want to play. And now forever I have like a random Diamond on my Season 1 where like I wasn't even really trying to grind that role, but I definitely wanted it to look nice. I don't know, it's just weird. Now, I honestly think that a lot of these problems are kind of just growing pains, with the ranked decay not happening anytime for the foreseeable future. And then the goal of this snapping to MMR change basically being that it wants to whip everyone that deserves like a higher rank and hasn't played enough in the rank that they belong in. So just because you haven't played in a while, it doesn't want someone that like decayed twice to be put in Plat. Let's say you were like in Masters and they decayed you and decayed you and decayed you, and now you're really, really low. It's gonna snap you up. That's the idea. It's snapping to that high MMR. Even if you haven't played the game in a while, it still wants to snap you close to your MMR so that you're not gonna be quote-unquote smurfing. And the idea here is that it's gonna try to snap everyone to a reasonable level to where they belong and then adjust from there. I do think that in some cases it's gonna snap people down, and then in other cases it's gonna snap people up, and it's gonna cause more problems that over time will be corrected with enough games. But there are definitely gonna be some people that are snapped upwards on roles that they don't really grind all that much, and that might cause some problems if they eventually try to grind those roles and they underperform even though they have a high rank. We'll have to wait and see the full ramifications of this change. But like I said, I think that a lot of this is growing pains that will eventually be settled in like the second or third week of the new Season 4 after enough people get some games in. And then we won't really have these problems for a while until we do have a decay at some point in the future, which is something that is planned by Blizzard. They might do some form of decay that happens on a much bigger time frame. They did announce that they would do something like maybe every 3 seasons or 5 seasons or whatever the case may be, centered around more big changes. I probably think that that's okay, especially after this MMR thing is kind of lined up. And with the new competitive update where we get to know wins and losses and the average rank of the lobby, I actually think that we might end up in a decent spot, but it's gonna take some time. And right now there's a lot of growing pains, so I wouldn't blame you for just locking quick play for a couple of weeks. But if you just grind through it, whether you fall or rank up, eventually you will get put back into the rank that you belong in. So don't be a little too reactionary. Everything will be fine. And I wish you the best of luck. But anyway, smash the like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Let me know what's been happening in your games, and I'll see you next time.